Good evening and a very warm welcome into ESL Challenger League Season 47 Asia. We're back again for another night, Mac. And, well, last night we had a bit of fun. That was a bit of a crazy game, wasn't it? But
it was.
We'll probably get something in the same territory again tonight. But how are you doing? We were playing a bit of CS before. Hey, you feeling pumped up, ready to go?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling
me too.
Stellar with my extra, 3 beans, 2 beans. How many games you played? Just 2 there for me?
I played 3 and I went even. I literally didn't go anywhere. I stayed on my elo.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I had fun. I had a good time. Every time I got 2 kills, I was like, yes, I'm doing a thing. And I was really happy about that. So anyway, it's a good day when I get a multi-frag in any given round of CS. But
true. What
we're here to talk about, of course, is Asia CS. And, well, what is there to say? I mean, everything's going on at the moment, apparently, in Asia CS. Tyloo, yeah, they've made a lot of roster changes. They're going through a bunch of things. We've seen Atox are making some changes as well. Linvision Mongols about to head over to the major, and high hopes for how they're going to go. So yeah, there's a lot of moving and shaking going on in the Asia region, which is really awesome to see. Actually, I feel like people are starting to care a little bit about Asia CS, you know. And all we really need is like Mongols to do well at the major, and people are actually going to get on board.
Yeah, well, look, I was watching your Pick'em video there. You know, shout outs to Pick'em's finally getting released, even though the capsules aren't for the stickers just yet. But also, I just had a quick squiz at Maui's as well, which he released like 5 or 6 hours ago. He was
on it straight away. Jesus, I didn't even know they were out before I saw his video.
Yeah, I was gonna make one, and then I was just like, now I'm seeing everyone else releasing them. I'm like, now I look like the copycat if I do it tomorrow. But
nah, do it tomorrow. Do it.
Just get it out there. Anyway, point is, Maui was even dropping it in. You know, he was tossing up between them and 9 Pandas, but feels like because, of course, it is just going to be a couple of best of ones before it gets through those best of 3s. That is going to be where the Mongols thrive, because they don't necessarily have a super crazy map pool, but it's enough.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I don't know. It's a conversation to be had. I definitely have some pretty good faith in the Mongols. I think they're a very talented team, and maybe call me like on Copium or on Hopium or whatever it may be. I'm really hoping that this is going to be the time, because we've been waiting a long time. We've been waiting a long time for some success. What's so funny?
You said the Mongols, and for some reason it just reminded me. I saw Blez's tweet, which he threw up like an hour ago. And for his 3-0 picks, he put Eternal Fire and Mongols. But they're literally playing each other in the first round. I'm just like, bro, you can't.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And he's like,
he hasn't. He's missed a beat, but I think he's changed it. Okay. It's all good. Anyway, we should take a look at how things have been shaping up in Asia as well, because again, every single night we come in, we play a bunch of games, and so taking a look at the standings is going to give us a bit of an indication of where things are at. We are getting to the point now where most teams have played at least a decent amount of games. And you're getting a pretty good indication of where teams, probably should be sitting in relation to one another. That said, teams like Tyloo, for example, really haven't played a whole lot. So we're kind of waiting to see what they're going to be able to bring to the table. We'll be watching Tyloo tonight, and there's a reason that they haven't been playing a lot. It's because they've been going through all this roster instability. I think actually, the same might be said for Rare Atom. I've heard some things on the grapevine that maybe it's trouble in paradise for Rare Atom as well. They haven't played a single game so far, so we'll keep up to date with how that one's going as well as we go through this season. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, like, obviously, looking at the likes of Linvision, Mongols not having missed a beat, Atox is doing really, really well for themselves. So that's kind of like the ticks in the box. New Happy being 1-5 is a little bit of a surprise, but when you take into account the teams that they have actually played against, I think it's all good. The biggest outlier at the moment really does feel actually like Tyloo, but it's quite hard to place Tyloo given how things have been going with their roster lately.
Yeah, well, they're undefeated, so let's see if that trend can continue. We didn't know what was going on with the roster. I think we still don't. But as far as I'm aware, it seems like the roster that we're going to be getting tonight from Tyloo is going to be solely because they're trying to keep the core 3 there. And maybe that's just going to be, you'll see that 5th player like shuffled around for the season, just until they can fully replace 3 players. But
yeah, that might be the case for the entire season.
Yeah, that's it, right? And this season's supposed to last for like another 3 months before we end it. So who knows if they're going to use this season as like practice, as some other kind of stability. I also heard that there's some weird like roster lock thing going on in the rules, and maybe that'll change about halfway through the season where people seem to be able to go for like a shift in the roster, knowing that it is a long season. But I could just be spitting lies. Who knows?
Yeah, I tell you what, though, we should have a look at what roster is actually going to be rocking up into the server today, because that's probably what people are pretty interested in seeing. It seems to be the talk of the town at the moment is which Tyloo are we going to get to watch? And tonight, at least, it will be Advent, Jamyoung, Mercury, so the core three, plus Lyrics and ZDR, which are the two new additions to the roster. There was obviously conversations around Mosey being back in as well at one point, but it seems like he's sort of taken a bit of a backseat still. Don't know what's happening with Orman. Haven't seen a thing from Kaze. And hey, I got the juice. I do follow Kaze on the old Instagram, and I have seen he's back in Malaysia, so I don't imagine that he'll be taking too much part. But Advent, Orman, maybe we'll see a little bit around the place until this roster sort of really gets sorted out for Tyloo. As far as -72C is concerned, nothing really to touch on there. They've been sort of quietly plugging away this season. It hasn't been a bad performance from them at all. They're 6-4 at the moment, so they're definitely doing enough to sort of stay in the top echelon, I would say, of this season of ESL Challenger League. And to be quite honest with you, this is a very good opportunity for them to take the scalp off of one of the top teams. In theory, what would have been one of the top teams. I don't know that we can call Tyloo that at the moment, but at least going into today, you'd be looking at this as -72C and saying, actually, we have a really good chance here that hopefully we don't let go by the wayside.
Yeah, I think recent performances at the RMR make us think that Tyloo isn't the Kings that they once were. But there's still a chance where they can, reclaim that throne. Of course, some of the teams are going to be busy with the major for the next maybe week, maybe longer if they play well. But if not, look, they might be coming back from Denmark real quick. Either way, I'm really interested not only in Tyloo's performance here, but also I haven't seen -72C play at all. So I'm keen to see what they have for us. Last night we got to see GR and Clutch Gaming go head-to-head on the mainstream, and map to map, they looked like completely different teams. So I don't know exactly what we're going to be getting out of -72C, but if there's any form of structure, I'm going to be impressed.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I think you'll see some decent stuff from them. I watched them play against Linvision. That was a very hard game for them, to be fair. They got kind of rolled, but I do think that actually Tyloo's going to potentially be a match which they can do a little bit better in. We'll take a look at the veto here as well and see what maps it's going to end up being. As I always say at this point of the evening, I'm definitely expecting that we might get something in the ways of an Ancient, Anubis, or a Mirage, and we get the Mirage this time around. So Tyloo opting to get rid of Anubis and Ancient, actually, funnily enough, and had the choice between the Overpass and the Mirage, have opted to go toward Mirage, which, look, I guess is probably not a bad decision given that they have still got to integrate a couple of new members into this roster, which who knows how long that's going to take them.
Yeah, I'm keen to see where they are as well. There's many things that I'm very excited to see about this matchup tonight, and I think that's why we've gone to choose it. I'm going in open-minded. I think Advent's going to be there tonight as well to play with a couple of the new individuals, so we'll see what his leadership's going to be able to try to get out of them. From what you were telling me, there may be some form of micromanagement going on in the lineup, which will be interesting to see how they adapt. But they're here to try and, prove what they're made of, and doing it on the mainstream is a great place to do it.
Yeah, let's talk about predictions as well for tonight. Now, this was a hard one. This was actually a little bit of a harder one. I'm still going to go the way of Tyloo personally, just because I think it's hard to go past still the relative strength of this roster. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of what's going on in the Tyloo camp at the moment. I think this is just shenanigans upon shenanigans, and I'm not a fan. But at the end of the day, there's still quite a solid core roster, right? Yep. It's hard to go past that. And generally speaking, Advent's had a pretty good eye for talent, so bringing a couple of new members in, Lyric and ZDR, I actually haven't personally watched them play just yet, but I have enough faith that the scouting at least should be good for Tyloo, and so hopefully these guys are going to be decent. And in saying that, I think they're probably going to be a bit of a match for 72C, but I'm happy to be proven wrong here. I almost want to be proven wrong, because that'll just be funny. It'll be kind of funny if Tyloo lose this one, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Speaking of players to watch, Mercury, what have you got to say about him?
We love Mercury. Mercury's sharp as nails, one of the heavy carries of the team, depending on the day. Could be him. Could be Jam Young, could be Mosea when he's in the lineup, but apparently he's not in the lineup right now, so we won't be seeing him today. And Mercury is a pretty good substitute to try to put his big boy pants on and do the carrying. Although, personally, I feel like it's a Jam Young kind of day. I can just feel something in the air.
Yeah, well, see, the reason I chose Mercury as the player to watch here is not because I think he's going to do amazingly. It's actually because he did pretty badly at the Asia RMR, which obviously you were there, Mac, you would have seen it. And it was a little bit... it was a little bit surprising, right? Because Mercury was this guy that we were all really high on at one point. We were saying, man, Mercury's like the next up-and-comer. Like, it was Jam Young, Mercury, those two. And then he just went completely missing at the RMR. Like, he performed even worse individually than Advent did, which is, like, unspeakable, really. So I just want to see what he's going to do tonight and if he's going to be able to bounce back. I hope that's going to be the case for Tyloo. And we'll have to wait and see because it's time for us to take a break, but don't go too far away. Map 1 here between Tyloo and minus 72C is coming up right after this. So here we are. It's Tyloo and minus 72C that are going to be taking each other on. And Mac is the world's biggest Tyloo fan. Why is that, Mac?
Sorry, I've been playing a little bit of GoldenEye lately.
That makes no sense. That actually makes no sense.
That's because that's Jam Young.
Okay.
Turns around, takes your head off because he's real damn good with all those guns. Pistols as well. Don't get in his way. He is going to knock you out, and he's playing today. He's here for blood. He has a point to prove. You know, they had a rough run at the RMR, and they want to turn their luck around. You know, they want to make Advent proud before Advent gets removed from the lineup eventually, whenever the hell that is. But he's here for the moment, and they know that they've got to just do work, man. Do work. And they also want to solidify their place in the squad, make the new kids know who the big dogs are. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's definitely a factor for Tyloo at the moment. I think they've got a very big 6 months ahead of them because, well, it's probably a little bit more than that because I think the next RMRs that are rumored to be starting around like October, November. Is that right? That seems really late, but I know the second major finishes like in December or something like that.
Yeah, so that's going to be the thing, right? It's going to be the second major. When that finishes, that'll be the end of the season. It's not going to be like it has been for the last, however many years, 15, 16 years, buddy. With the majors, it is now
the end. Yeah.
The end. That's
I like it. I do like that. But basically what I'm trying to say here is I think Tyloo, I mean, they've got 6-7 months maybe to like get everything locked down and ready
Yeah.
to go, because that's the Shanghai major. It's the major in China. You are Tyloo, the most legendary Chinese CS organization that there is. To miss out on that is going to be very, very bad news. So they're going to go through the growing pains over the next probably, 2-3 months, I would say, and try to figure things out. Like, who knows what's going to happen at IEM Chengdu. I've heard rumors that Orman's going to be sticking around so that they can keep their core 3. There's, all these sorts of things that they have to figure out. But, you'd want to be getting your 5 locked in pretty much now so that you can give them as much of a lead-in time going into that Chinese major. So, I don't know, man. At this point, yeah, I just kind of want to see Tyloo get it sorted. And as long as I'm seeing Advent in the roster, I'm not really getting that feeling that that's what's happening. So I don't know where they're going to go with this. I have no extra insight over probably anybody else, but I thought that they had like turned a corner and decided, all right, we're going to go with a bit of a younger roster and we're going to try and go in that direction. But doesn't seem like it, at least at the moment. And I think the longer that you sort of linger with remnants of the old guard and not committing to whatever the new roster is going to be, I think the longer it's going to take for them to really properly be able to get themselves
I think they're
ready.
just scared. I think they're just scared, Tyloo. If you're watching, I know. Trust me, I know. You are just scared. Just do it, huh?
Just
make
do
the
it.
change. Go on, boom, like that. Not hard, not hard. Get rid of him. You know who I'm talking about. New blood. Let it in. See what happens. Could be magic. Could be terrible, but could be magic.
Yeah, what about -72C tonight, though? I feel like this is one where they'd be looking at that and saying, we got to jump on this chance. We got to get at least one map off of Tyloo, if not potentially both of them. I don't know what Tyloo's going to look like coming into tonight with this new roster. It's a big question mark for me. But -72C, I don't think they're an awful team.
It's still early days, and that's what I was saying. I haven't seen -72C play before, so I have no idea how they're going to fare going up against Tyloo. I agree that now is a great time to try to get these upsets against Tyloo if you're ever going to get them. And I hope that -72C are going to be able to pull out a solid game. Show us what they're made of. In terms of, did we do the veto before?
We did. It's going to be Mirage.
Or Mirage for the first map. That's a great upset map as well. That's a map that historically, when they were before Rare Atom, before Hurricane, when they were Vici, this was a bad map. A very bad map for him. But that was I think there's only 2 people now that were on that old Vici roster that were not a good Mirage team until they were a good Mirage team. And that'd be Advent and Jam Young here. So who knows? The newcomers could bring a little bit of extra fun, extra bit of mayhem. And that was, Tyloo's choice as well, because it was between Overpass and Mirage for those last 2 picks, which is interesting. But Mirage, a much more balanced map than Overpass. And in best of ones, you can't really afford to do anything but try to go to something a bit more balanced. Because if you get that last pick and if you lose the knife round and you don't get to start on the strong side, your game can be over before you get a chance to get going.
Yeah, MR13. MR12. I don't know why I keep saying MR13. It's just in my head.
13's the number, but
13's the number.
The double
MR12,
number.
whatever. You know what I mean. It's a weird format. I mean, look, I think definitely playing 2 BO1s is something that will take a little bit of getting used to for these teams as well, because it sort of feels like, every map does matter, more, almost, in a way, than if it's a best of 3, because, you lose a map in a BO3, you're like, well, that's fine. We can still come back in the 2-1, but once you lose a map in the 2 best of 1s, it's like, well, that's your map gone. That's your points gone.
Yep.
You don't get the opportunity to bring that one back. So you got to be, in it to win it. And it's similar to what you were saying last night, the Clutch and GR Gaming matchup. They just looked like 2 completely different teams on 2 completely different maps. It was kind of crazy. So I don't know if that's necessarily acceptable, by the way, when you're vetoing down to 1 map. You shouldn't have nothing on that map. Yeah. If that's where you're going, you've already vetoed 3 maps already. So
I don't want to think about it anymore. That Ancient out of Clutch was, I'd argue, horrific. They just brought nothing. Why was that map let through if they don't know what they're doing? Maybe, macro-wise, I guess they knew where they wanted to go, but they just had no tools to help them get to the positions they wanted to get to. So I'm hoping that the tradies don't forget their tools or blame their tools today, and we just get to see some solid Asian Counter-Strike, even if it is, bad smokes down, couple of flashes, just scrim it through. At least give me some teamwork, give me some good spacing. None of this default terrible gameplay. If you can't, use the utility off the back of a default and you just letting everyone go on their own. I don't think that. I'm hoping we get a bit more from Tyloo here today.
All right. Well, look, I mean, it seems like we've got a bit of a while to wait before this game starts. So what are your thoughts on the pick'ems? Oh, never mind. I think we're going live. Don't worry about it, Mac. We don't want to hear about your pick'ems. But if we did want to hear about them, we could check out MacMade on YouTube. And I believe that maybe there'll be something there tomorrow. Hopefully.
Of course. Maybe even... I was going to do it before the show tonight, but then ended up just chilling with our good friend, Michael.
Everybody knows Michael.
Look, what have we got here? C bringing set to YouTube. Set one flash palmed across to Shendaras as well. And Tyloo have only 2 players here at B, so we've got a 2v5 on the agenda.
Yeah, well, Advent and ZDR, so a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of ZDR here. And Advent already getting knocked over. ZDR, nice little shot in there. Nice couple of shots, actually. You got the 2-piece, which is a decent early sign for him. You've still got Lyric sitting over toward A, making sure there's no shenanigans happening there. But he'll have to get on his bike pretty shortly because the bomb is being planted on B now.
Just trying to piece together the info. Piece together the post plants. Mercury. Just trying to draw attention to short. But minus 72C, very solid in the post plants. Not showing anything until they do. And Lyric starting to wrap his way around. Not worrying about the side players. What's going on here? How has Barosto allowed this to happen? That was nuts. That was actually insane. Barosto, my new favorite player in this game.
Yeah. I tell you what, though. I think there's actually a few that you can get behind. I love the names on this minus 72C roster. It is actually almost all of them. Forzetsky, oh, beautiful. Shandaras, love it. Frantalas. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not such a fan of Musu. Like, it's not.
Musu?
It's not bad. It's not awful. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely not bin tier, but it's not Forzetsky. Like, come on, man.
Barosto just like reminds me of barista, which reminds me of coffee, so it makes me extra happy too. You know. Love a good brew.
Yeah, me too. Just not coffee.
Are we seeing minus 72C know what they want from the get-go, getting uncontested with a solid B split and just farming against the pistols? That's a solid strat. I like that in an anti-eco. Minus 72C, solid call. Props to Jamyoung for avoiding the T's for that long. But now it's just probably going to be attempts at the exits here. And I like this boost from Tyloo. If we get a chance to have a look at Lyric, he'll be up on top of that boost. Bit of an old school one, but I don't know if we're going to get a chance to see it.
It doesn't look like it's going to end up resulting in anything anyway. 72C more than happy to exit out via short into mid. It's a good start for minus 72C. You know, like they haven't really been challenged too hard thus far. Pistol round and then anti-eco going well, but
yeah,
you got to be taking what you're getting. And Tyloo's obviously one of those teams that they can crumble a little bit under the pressure. So I think the way that minus 72C are going about this so far is definitely keeping me interested. You know, it's not as if they're just getting blasted or anything like that. And Tyloo, they've got these question marks over the roster at the moment. So I'm here for it. You know, I'm here for minus 72C getting a win here.
I've got multiple questions. One of which as well goes back to the pistol. That flash that Advent was holding for apps is a great pop flash if there's someone to peek apps with it. But it was kind of just like a flash to try to slow down the T's from pushing, and the flash came out way too late. Like some weird disjointed situation going on that B side already. Let's see what goes on here in the first gun round. Mercury already going to get dumpstered down to 38 points of health, so he's not having a good time in con. But Tyloo, will they end up with this mid control? Minus 72C going in real late with those smokes, but they will have mid in the end. And we already see Tyloo falling back into a 3-2 split.
Bit of a slow around this one, that's for sure. Well, I like the mid control that minus 72C are starting to work a little bit here. They're kind of keeping Tyloo interested. Jamyoung constantly having to have a look into connector. So he's got split attention. CDR going to boost him up now. While they've got their attention turned toward mid, there's a creep happening in the apartments, and Tyloo not really in a great position to defend it. I mean, the smoke is not too badly timed, but there's no more counter util available here for Tyloo to hold on, and that is a very nice opener for Borosto. Good start.
Yeah, solid damage there on a Musu, and Jam Young, with that flash from Advent, is going to be able to pick up another. Lyric getting aggressive all on his own. And we'll keep it close in this 2-2 situation. No util left for the CTs. They are going to have to swing it out and hope to catch a timing. Timing is exactly what Mercury's been able to find. And a crisp shot there onto Shandaras as well will get Tyloo their first round, but at a cost.
Well, there's the guy we talked about, Mercury. Decent clutch to start things off. If he's going to have a good day and Jam Young's going to have a good day, then it can still go well for Tyloo. It's nice as far as they're concerned to get this one, you know, slowly working in their direction pretty early on in the piece so that -72C can't just roll away with things.
Yeah.
I do have a feeling that this is going to be a pretty tight game, though. Like, I've certainly got my reservations as to whether or not Tyloo's going to be good enough to clean this one up, you know, completely comfortably.
Yeah, we'll see as time goes on. I'm seeing and noticing that Tyloo are just constantly rotating their positions. People putting their hands up, wanting to go different directions. Forzetsky almost put on that window line with the boost, but will fall off. And saving a lot of that early util before we see this little fight start to happen. Mercury, great nade, followed through by Lyric. And that's going to be the opening. They don't really need that mid control. They're happy with the numbers.
Musu, that was a nice opener, but not getting any more than that. The nade catches Lyrics. Okay, starting to get a little bit more interesting now. He's aware that Advent's on the site with the MP9, and Frontales is in such a nice spot. Jam Young caught on the rotate. This is coming together very nicely for -72C, and I mean, what can Advent really do about it? He's had to give up the site. He's playing retake. He's only got an MP9. I mean, he's got a bit of util. So maybe he can get in a position to enable ZDR with the flash or with a molly, something like that, but short of a mistake from -72C. Yeah, Advent's just never getting anything done, and that's a very nice round.
Yeah, real crispy one. Musu, huge round there. That nade as well. To net him that second kill, that's big impact out of him. And into the next one, we are going to see an unfortunate situation for Tyloo. You know, their economy was cracked. They only managed to get that first round with just Mercury alive. And now this is exactly the problem we were alluding to. Is there is no money just 2 rounds after.
Bad news indeed for Tyloo. Be a smoke for Top Con. Shandaras is having such an easy time working in through mid here. Little bit of resistance from Tyloo, but realistically, yeah, I mean, that's how you'd want it to go if you're on the T side. 5 guns through, 4-1 lead. Tyloo looking a bit shaky, and it's not as if they can't lose this matchup. We saw them drop to LYG in the Jönköping qualifier last night, the open qualifier. They didn't even make it through the open qualifier, Mac. So if that doesn't scream problems, I don't know what does.
Let's see if they can fix those problems eventually. But for the time being, we got a little tech pause coming through. So Jordan, tell me, in 20 seconds or less, what did you do with your day?
I made some... Okay, well, jeez, I can't even remember what happened. I don't know. I did something, and then I had lunch, and then I did something else. And then we recorded a video, and then I went for a run, and then I took Rox for a walk, and then we played some CS, and now we're here. That's everything I did.
Huge.
Pretty sure I got the order wrong. I think I had lunch after we recorded a video, but that's fine. Geographically Challenged. Look it up on YouTube. Be out tomorrow. Feel like Asian CS.
Check it out.
Which if you're watching this, you probably do.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I think Tyloo, they're looking like they're struggling a little bit. Advent almost able to double down. Can't quite onto Forzetski. That'll be enough for -72C to get into the A side.
And he's very much on the board now. Can the rest of Tyloo posture for this retake? We got smokes, we got no kits. They got to get a wriggle on if they want to make it happen, and they want to be picking CT relatively soon. But Forzetski is not going to fall for the fake flash with the smoke, and this is just awkward for Tyloo now. Back away, not today. Disco Lady. ZDR should be right as rain to survive here as long as he dodges those shots. But there's 5. 5 on the board on the T side. You are already feeling very confident if you're -72C.
Yeah, that's 5-1. And you kind of keep questioning, like, when does this stop? And I don't know if I'm seeing enough to really believe that it is going to. Tyloo are just not looking like a particularly cohesive unit at the moment. It's coming down to individuals trying to make something happen. Mercury was able to do that with one of the clutches, but by and large, -72C have just looked like the better team. They've taken map control quite comfortably. They've been trading effectively. Tyloo aren't really being able to step up to it, and on top of that fact, Tyloo's money is just completely cooked. So, where do you go from here?
ZDR jump peeking. Gets the info that he was looking for, but again, they just need to try to put this rifle in the right position, and it's swiftly coming across towards market, but it won't get here to get the trades out in time. Jam Young, however, with the Deagle, going to be able to at least snatch one head away. And from Tyler's, he'll make his way safely up short. As Mercury falls as well, it's not looking too likely for there to be much else found from Tyloo this round.
No, as was expected to be the case. Cleaned up pretty nicely. 6-1. Money's getting there again for Tyloo, but this would be what, the 4th maybe gun round that they've had this half, and none of them have looked particularly threatening. I mean, even the one that they got on the board came down to Mercury getting his only 2 kills for the map, by the way, in the 2v1.
Where do you reckon in Eastern Russia a lot of these players hail from?
That's a great question. I have no idea what is even in Eastern Russia from a city perspective. Let me have a look. Oh, there's actually quite a lot.
Yeah, I think there is a fair bit. I looked one time because we had a guy from Australia who was from Eastern Russia, or playing from Eastern Russia in one of our invite hubs.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, we can't have that. He's on 170 ping. And he was fine with it, but we were not fine. It was an interesting one. But there is a couple of...
Yeah, that's a lot, actually.
Because there's the ones that are over near Korea.
Yeah.
That sort of city area, but then you've also got
Mongolia.
North of Mongolia.
The whole northern Mongolian border. That'd probably be where these guys are all coming from. Yeah, there's even a border with China as well.
Yeah.
Well, so far so good though again for -72C as this round continues to look pretty okay. Mercury's picked up the equalizing frag. But B-site's looking pretty tantalizing at this point with Barosto having been able to sort of lurk all the way to the end of the apartments. And if he gets his timing right, he gets a freebie. Making a bit of noise there. ZDR will go for the swing and just wins the fight, but he's going to be in a spot of bother if Molotovs land. 7 seconds left, and I don't know if they can get a plant down anymore. I think -72C have kind of timed themselves out of this round a little bit, and Borzetsky will die after time. So that'll be a problem, but I mean, there's still lots of cash.
Yeah. Just one of those things where, you know, sometimes doesn't go very good, but this time went pretty good for Tyloo. Can they, however, find themselves a third? That's the big question. Early util towards mid for -72C. Basic old con and window smokes. Molly towards top mid boxes for Tyloo just to try to slow things down. Oh, and Lyric's going to go for the fight here. Mercury picks one off in the meanwhile. And the aggression is working wonders for the middle area players here on Tyloo. Mewtwo, however, going to be able to start to make his way towards Cat. Get that pickup, rotate away. Leave Shandara's here. Oh, and Lyric's tanked a damn decent chunk of damage from that molly.
Yeah, it's kind of still hanging in the balance a little bit here for Tyloo. They need this round so badly. Whereas -72C are going to have a couple more bites of the cherry. Mercury, nicely timed pick up onto Shandara's. Good nade as well onto Forzetsky. Aware, obviously, that the boost has happened. Forzetsky can't land the shot. And so it seems Tyloo might just be able to bail themselves out of trouble if anything doesn't go awry from this point onwards. That jungle player is going to be incredibly critical. We'll be hearing the scope of Forzetsky, knowing that there's somebody close. And Mercury getting the job done quite nicely in that round. He's gone from 2 kills in pretty much the entire map to now 8. And you're kind of seeing what that's doing for Tyloo.
All right, 3 rounds the difference. Can Tyloo even it up at that halftime score? Or are they going to put a foot wrong? That's what we need to focus on here. How clean can they keep it? Or are -72C just going to show that they are too strong? Jamie, I'm going to get tested here. Short now, gun at the ready. He has no help in hand, but he doesn't quite need it. Mercury, however, blows that smoke at the perfect moment. And is going to be able to find 2 off the back of it. Big chunk of damage on the Shantaras, who's not going to be able to fight because he's caught with util in hand. And this is looking like a much better round from the mid pack of Tyloo.
Yeah, 4-6. I mean, they're starting to bring it back together. It's taken a little while for Tyloo to wake up, but it is getting there. They can make it back to a 6-6. Then maybe there's some discussion to be had. -72C cooling off a little bit as well and starting to run out of money now too.
Yeah.
Pretty inopportune time for that. Although, keeping a little bit in reserve for the next round. They'll be able to sort of scrounge together a buy with that loss bonus if worse comes to worse.
Looking for it. Borzetsky just wasn't quite posted to figure out where that molly was coming from. Expecting maybe that smoke to get blown again. It's happened a few rounds in a row now. But this time ZDR going to be able to make his way to the top of balcony. And I'm looking at where Mewtwo's gazing towards. I don't think he's got any idea of this early push up on the balcony. Jamyoung going to get dunked by the nade and flashed off as well. So things could get awkward towards the B site. And that's why Mercury was starting to shift towards market there. You see Frentalis just trying to draw attention towards the A site as the B site members from -72C start to make their move.
Well, Lyrics finally has an AWP in hand as well, which is something that we'll be looking out for. New AWP for Tyloo by the looks of things, and ZDR, ooh, head banged off by Barosto, who's putting in some good work with the Deagle in this round. It's actually going to be enough to get the bomb plant down, which is very, very valuable going into the next round, because as you can see, money's really not quite there for the T side. They've got 2.9k loss bonus, so with that extra cash that they're going to get from the bomb plant, they'll be okay to actually get a decent buy across the board and fight for the 7-5. And honestly, if you get 7-5 on Mirage T side, I don't think you're going to be too mad about that. They'll be a bit disappointed that it hasn't really quite gone the way that they would have wanted it to. They haven't obviously been able to really seal the deal, but still a 7-5 would not be a bad spot to be.
Let's see if they can make it happen. Eyes towards the A site for Zetsky. He's going straight towards Pal with the probably closest spawn to it these days. Since that spawn update. And that nade towards the top cat smoke won't be enough to get Lyric the line, but he's expecting that wide swing. Connects onto Frontalis. And this is looking like a cleaner start to the round unless he gets caught with Util out, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Advent able to find his one before getting traded out. And now the A side of the map is in the hands of -72C. Problem is, Jordan, they don't have the bomb that was left in spawn.
No, but they've got the time to get it. And they've got the player coming across for it as well. All they have to really do is lock down the rotation in, which they seem to be doing a decent job of it. Jam Young, look, he's pretty good. 1v3 here, though. It'll be a tough ask, and now has been spotted, which will make the job a little bit harder, though. Shindaris is going to drop pretty early on in the piece, and that smoke into Con. Oh, isolating some duels. Could have been something, but 7-5 the score at halftime. Okie dokie. 7-5 is the scoreline. Minus 72C. Looking okay. They're looking okay. They were a little bit up and down in the end, but Tyloo was certainly more down than up, and minus 72C, yeah, they took advantage of that. It was really only the moments where Mercury was able to sort of pop off individually to give Tyloo anything to speak to, but we'll see what they can get done on this T side, and making the choice to go toward B to start things off wouldn't be a bad one. There's only the one defender there, which is Forzetsky, and only a USP in hand. It's going to be tough to hold on. Advent was faking B, though. And minus 72C, either they've done their research or they've gotten lucky, but they've got 4 players toward A, one of whom is in the T spawn, which is a bit weird, but could come into play later on.
Oh, blinking to miss that. Crispy shots coming out of almost every single individual. ZDR going to be showing us why he got picked up by Tyloo. And a 1v4 turned 1v3 is a great way to start. Making some noise here towards stairs side. Not quite going over the top of the 2 CTs and trying to figure out where that third man is hiding from. But now, with the CTs in their current positions, I just don't see a world where ZDR is going to be getting past them.
No, he's really going to have to show up in this pistol, isn't he? And 72C is just not giving him a thing. So that'll be that.
Boom.
And that is the really big step forward, actually, that they're going to take to potentially winning this map, right? Until this point, it's been like, yeah, they're doing okay. We're not too sure. Sort of putting one foot in front of the other. But now we're in the second half. They've won the second half pistol. They had a lead going into it. Tyloo's on a bit of a timer now. They need to get it sorted. Otherwise, it's going to be too late.
Yeah. A little bit worried about them here. Maybe the next map is a good place to look, but there's still 5 rounds that minus 72C need, and they're thriving. Going up against pistols with SMGs and then the rifle at range. This is awkward with that jump boost. Advent not living for too bloody long. And the SMG going to be able to at least tear through 2, and 1 casualty suffered on the frontalas. But let's see if Tyloo are going to be able to do anything into their first gun round. Money for everyone. Maybe the utility going to be slightly lacking, but you'll take that every day just to get the extra firepower going. And what do they got? What do they have? What can they show us? That's what I'm here for, Jordan.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 MP9s, though, from minus 72C saved into this round, so interested to see what they're going to get up to with that. Often the way this round will go is that Tyloo should win it. If they don't, then that might be curtains for the map. It'll be a huge, huge win for minus 72C. I like the aggressive defense that they've got going on here. I don't know if Shandaris is making any footsteps there. I thought I heard some footsteps, but it's sometimes a little bit weird when it comes to, you know, what do we hear, what do we see versus what's the player here.
Yeah.
Jiamyang certainly at least open to the fact that there might be a push coming into A main, but oh, that's scary. The setup, it's worked very nicely. Good damage. Gets a kill and damage onto the second player. Advent down to 7 HP. Tyloo really struggling now. 30 seconds left on the clock. Molotov starting to fly on through, but Rosto is down to a sliver of HP as well. And you've still got 2 players to get past on the bomb site. Perfectly timed swing from Musu. Nice 2K. And Tyloo, they are getting tossed into the bin right now by minus 72C. In an ideal world, Forzetsky is going to be able to get an upgrade to an AK as well with this MP9 or even an M4. No, there would have only been 2 M4s anyway, so he should get an AK out of this one somewhere. Yeah, and that is about as perfect as it could possibly hope to go for the CT side.
Three more. And again, Tyloo's finances are in the bin. A couple of upgraded pistols is probably all we're going to see. Advent's even gone for the double bangers, but how's he going to use them? Keep your eyes on 5. Tyloo starting to hit the accelerator towards this B site. Yusu on a deep line must have spotted someone to drop that molly quite early.
Oh, well, this hasn't really been too much of a drama for -72C. Jamio will get one with that P250, and that might be enough to enable the bomb plant, though the Molotov coming through is going to pretty much ensure that player dies. Yeah, so not really too much of a concern in the end for the CT side. They get the bomb plant down, Tyloo, but they don't do too much economic damage, and they continue to put one step in front of the other, and they're 11-5 now, and they're actually teetering on the precipice of a very decisive map victory.
Just running back the paces. Tyloo on guns. Where are they heading, Jordan? Bomb's going to be making its way towards mid there. Mercury makes a little bit of noise, and that underpass smoke works in favor of Barosto. Opening frag coming through for the CTs. Let's see if that's enough to capitalize. But they are going to continue to push the point. Nades going towards the top of mid there. Mercury a little worried about any CT aggression to come through. But we know that they've already gone and given it up.
Not looking great for Tyloo, down a member. Still have yet to really take mid control. If they want to make this A split happen, they're going to have to get past Forzetsky. And he's playing with his timing. He's got it wrong. ZDR only just still wins that duel, though. Barosso's getting barraged in the window. Either way, I mean, it's taking Tyloo definitely a lot of effort to get through the map at the moment. And doesn't look like 72C are particularly unsettled just yet either. Still got a very good solid hold on this A bomb site with a couple of members dedicated over to it.
One-pronged approach.
Ooh, Barosso, did he make a step? Not Barosso. I think it was ZDR. I thought ZDR might have made a step there, but either way, Frontalas, he's going to hold it down, not quite lock it down, and Musu also dropping. But a fast rotate from Shandaras. This is definitely winnable with 10 seconds left on the clock. All he has to do is find the kill on the bomb planter. Oh, he's going to force him away from the default box, and under balcony will be cleared out, but it's cost a lot of HP, and the flash is a good one. Tyloo aren't done yet.
Well, how's this buy looking for what could be one of the final rounds? -72C going for the XM angle. But selling it, opting to be more appropriate with an SMG and some extra utility. But let's see if anyone gets beamed. That's what I'm always curious about. Slower early round coming through now. Re-smoke over towards Con, but it is going to be the bust straight out on B side, and Forzetsky picking off 2 from short. And Tyloo just don't know what to do. They've lost this round unless... Not looking too good.
I don't think there's an unless.
Hey, he was posted, you know, you get that shot.
Yeah.
That's one chance back in. They got so much time to play with. And I think they tried to sell that fake rotation in through T-spawn. Frontalas, though, he knows, and oh. I just thought he had a perfect spot for what we were going to see. Lyric finding that impact. But 30 seconds has passed, and now there's only 30 left to get to a site and bloody plant.
From Tyloo's has also just got such a forward position that if they try to go anywhere with any kind of haste, he's going to be able to hear it. I love this from him. Good patience not to continue the push, and catches Lyrics off guard. He's not expecting the peak to come through from that side. Now it's time to charge his way forward and take that orb into the next round, or maybe just try to take the fight. He's been binged through the wall. It's all good in the end because he's backed up by his teammates, and 12-6, minus 72C go one step further.
I think they're on for going the whole way, at least on Mirage.
Definitely looks like it. And you know what the thing is? Like, I'm not even surprised.
Not surprised, not disappointed. I don't know what I expected. That's where we're at, huh?
Yeah. I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised. I'm just apathetic, which is maybe almost worse.
Now the mighty have fallen. Well, best of one gameplay provides this kind of goodness. And we won't be getting Mirage for map number 2. But we'll figure out what we get. It'll be interesting if that overpass slides through and we get to see a bit of overpass. Love me some Asian OP. For this round, Tyloo, they've got this full mid control. They're just trying to figure out what to do with it. Lurk at back kitchen, position like they should potentially end towards B with what we see. Event smoking top con. Not getting with the times, but it won't matter regardless, as there is going to be no con player this round. He's tucked away at Sandwich. And it is just going to be Musu here to try and hold off the Tyloo forces.
Shandara's holding on to that smoke. It's 40 seconds left in the round. Not a bad time to be dropping it down. Tyloo are going to have to go through it, which will obviously cause a couple of problems for them. It's a good crossfire setup as well. Shandara's and Musu short. And on the site itself, one of them will get dug out. Musu's still waiting for that push to come through on short. Won't be coming though. He's got to turn his attention back toward the site. Vorosto now, the one tasked with the job, and he can't quite get it done. So for Zetsky, you'd say at this point probably should just be running away with that AWP and taking it through to the next.
He's having a sniff just in case. He knows that there's a chance to have those stats. Get a little bit of extra dosh in the dank. And that is going to be at least 7 secured from Tyloo. Can they do it for however many more? 6 more? 5 more? All that's needed just to take us into OT. Because that's the aim right now.
It's a bit of a stretch at the moment.
I don't think we're finishing map number 1 here, Jordan. Although I say that, maybe I've jumped the gun. I thought that there wasn't going to be too much money, but this is looking stellar. Way more than enough utility to make this work, and rifles almost across the board, other than the AWP for Zetsky. Tyloo hoping they can try and pick a timing. This nade looks good. Ooh, big damage on a Lyric. And the utility usage is looking like it's just on a slightly different level right now. For minus 72C.
Still no picks in the round. Tyloo with a very, very spread offense. So just waiting to see if someone's going to be able to work a pick and do something that they can react off of. Once again, does look like they want to try to tackle mid. It's been this top mid plus underpass kind of approach. We've seen from them a few times. You're going to get the top con and window smokes out. Flashes coming through here as well. And Tyloo are into mid. They've gotten control of that area of the map. But Barroso will lock them out of short with the smoke. And you'd have to put 2 and 2 together and imagine that they might head in the direction of A. That's where the bomb is at least headed as well.
Ooh, pre-firing doesn't quite work there. Advent, it was ambitious. And it might have got his teammate killed as well, but this is looking like it's all over Red Rover. Mercury can't get it done. And that'll be that. 13-7. Tyloo get it taken to them. -72C, my new favorite team, at least on Mirage.
I tell you what, you probably would be a big fan of them because I think what they're obviously referring to with their name is -72 degrees, which I believe is, the temperature that it gets to in Eastern Russia, in some parts at least. So
Okay.
I know you're a cold weather fan.
I do like some cold weather.
Mm.
Bro, okay. Quickly, that match aside,
All right.
in Romania, it was the first hotel I'd been to where the cold water was cold. We were in Mongolia.
I remember the
last year,
Mongolia.
and
that was pretty
the
bad.
cold water wasn't cold.
The cold water was genuinely hot.
It was like, yeah, it was really weird. It was like 15-degree cold water, which is not cold.
It was more than 15. There was the cold water in Mongolia was genuinely like, it was actually like warm water. It was like shower warm water. I think it was because, like, obviously it's Mongolia, it's really cold there, so they just don't have water that gets that cold. Otherwise people were going to freeze, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, besides the point. Obviously, the big talking point here is that Tyloo have lost that map, and
Yep.
like I said, I just don't think you can be that surprised at this point. Like, what is going on with this roster? What is going on with this team? I have no idea. But the way that looked like, it definitely could be leaning towards a 2-0 tonight, actually, for 72C, in my opinion.
Yeah, -72C just looked sharper. I don't know if it has something to do with, like, maybe a ping difference between China and Russia. I did notice, some teams, when you play on, like, 80+ ping, the game still gives you, like, some weird advantage. So, online CS is still a thing that I feel like is being slowly but surely figured out. And I'm not sure, do we do the veto again
We
for
do.
the next map, or do we just bring it up?
We do it again. We do it again. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna take a look at the
went
player
left
stat
again.
for that last one, which obviously we touched on Mercury being a player to watch, and it's sort of a similar story to the Rooster game that we watched yesterday, where we picked Netic, and it was like, I mean, Mercury didn't have a bad individual performance. There's 70 ADR, 1.8 KD. That's more than acceptable, but not anywhere near enough to get a win tonight for Tyloo, and pretty much everyone else kind of went missing. I mean, Jamyoung was okay, but ZDR, Lyrics didn't really impress too much. Advent's Advent. So that's that's not too fantastic. I mean, we can touch on the veto here quickly before we go to a break. And it's going to be Nuke for the next map, which I know is one that Tyloo doesn't mind playing, but I don't have a huge amount of faith given that they're playing with a couple of new players.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I think Tyloo are going to really hope that they win that knife, because if they don't get off on a good start again, it's interesting, man. It'll be very interesting indeed. So we'll see. But for the CT side, I'm hoping that Tyloo have something to show us, because -72C feels like, at least on Mirage, they had some solid utility. Maybe we'll get what we had yesterday, and -72C will have nothing on Nuke, and Tyloo will have everything. But I guess we'll see after the break.
All right, we'll take a quick one. Don't go too far away. Map 2 is coming up right after this, and it will be Nuke. So here we are on Nuke. It is Tyloo and -72C taking one another on this evening. And already we've seen... Would it be considered an upset, Mac? I don't know if it would. I mean, we both predicted for Tyloo, so I guess there's that. But the thing is, like, it's not even that surprising, is it? And it wasn't even a close game either. So, I mean, the question now, I guess, is can they do it again? Can they get the 2-0?
Yeah, Blood, who knows? That's the big thing, right? I just don't know what to expect when I'm watching these games anymore because Tyloo just seems to, like, I don't know, as you mentioned, I don't think it's disappointment. It's just something. But let's see what they can do. -72C, of course, probably winning that knife round because they're starting on the CT side and it looks like there's going to be ramp pressure coming through. Jam Young couldn't make it happen already with that P250, but the flash forward will feign that pressure and we're going to see another one happen and allow this wrap from Mercury. Can they get the heaven control?
Looks like they might be able to. Forzetsky's going to lose his life in a prolonged battle, but Musu! What is going on? What is happening? This is just madness in this round. Frontalis is going to drop off of heaven, but there's nothing he can really do there. Barosso's now trying to work his way back up, and... Oh, nice shot from Shandaras onto Mercury. Can't get too much more than that. I think Barosso's flank is going to be the key, obviously, but Advent is going to be watching for that. And that is ambitious.
Oh, I expected Advent to die there because it's Advent.
Yep.
But he did a great job to not die and get the kill. So good to see Tyloo coming out with the pistol, but I need more. I still need more from him.
Yes. That said, they do tend to play a fair bit of Nuke, or at least the previous core. Well, they still currently have the same core, I guess, but I don't know, ZDR and Lyrics coming in. Have to see what they're going to be able to do, but the fact of the matter is the Tyloo do tend to play a fair bit of this map, so they might be able to get onto a bit of a roll on the T side. Jam Young will be the one leading the charge behind the wall of smokes. It's going to be fully flashed, but Mercury's there to help him out to make sure that nothing too crazy goes astray. There is still a CT hiding inside of that smoke.
Sneaky individual. Oh, and the reload is perfectly timed with that smoke fading to allow Musu to get one. But what's going on with these A-site members? They're making a little bit of noise. ZDR takes the head off of him, and it's Barosto in the 1v4 angle. Has the deagle, has the dream, but does he have the aim to back it up right now?
Don't think so. Don't even know if he's got the dream at the moment, to be honest with you.
You gotta have it, mate. Every round can be won in Counter-Strike. That's the beauty of it. But it looks like this round might not be one of those. Barosto hoping someone got a bit too big for their boots, walked into his crosshair. But Tyloo playing it cool, realizing that they need to make all these dubs come through a little bit cleaner. And in this round, keeping 4 alive is crucial for the long run here in the first half. The T side, of course, generally the weaker side here on Nuke.
Terrorists win.
And that just reminded me as well, with that map loss before, Tyloo now going to be joining the not undefeated club so far. And I think there are a couple of teams that are still undefeated, but that'll have to change at some point.
Mongols and Linvision would be undefeated as far as I remember. I think that might be it. Yeah. Everybody else has had at least a map loss.
This is one of those spicy rounds. I was backing Barosto for a moment there, and taking this fight with Advent is definitely the best person you want to be fighting with. But there's going to be 4 Ts at Outers in just a moment, maybe even 5 if we see ZDR come this direction.
Forzetsky.
And, oh,
Pretty telegraph flashbang flies over his head, so he's able to avoid that and get a 1-for-1. It's on to Musu to keep putting in that work, and that's not too shabby at all. 72C, once they get the guns in their hands, definitely look like a bit of a different beast, and Tyloo don't seem to have an answer. A lot of individual fights happening here, and Jam Young Very nearly gets a double kill, which is probably what was required to get them back into this round. Lyrics up against the Deagle. Not going to get that kill, and so Barosso's just going to go scurrying away. Doesn't quite manage to escape in time, but Frontalis caught for pace. And Tyloo might still be in with the swing of things because Shandaris is nowhere to be seen on the B side.
Bomb has been planted.
Looking very much unlikely right now. But he's given it a crack, and I respect it. It's that first pick. Boom! Oh, not this time. Lyric catches him. Just swinging around on clock there, and we are going to see Tyloo keeping it clean. So far on this T side, 3 and zip. And minus 72C have not a lot of money now. So we'll see what they opt to do with it. But so far, no good on this CT side of Nuke for them.
That's a pretty tough one to come back from as well, because punting obviously starts to become a problem as you see these T-side rounds continue to build up. Tyloo already in a spot where they put another 1 or 2 on the board, then their money's just going to be phenomenal, and it's a complete rewrite of what we saw on the first map. Minus 72C were the ones that were out in front for quite a long time before Tyloo started to bring it back, but shoes on the other foot now, and we'll get to question whether or not minus 72C are a strong enough team to sort of come back from... Look, it's still only a 3-0 deficit, but you'd say it's probably 4-0 after this round, which is starting to get concerning.
Advent going to go into that line with the bomb, but will win the fight with Musu. And that means the upper defenses are a little more weak. Timing is no good from that ramp crunch. And Forzetsky slowly making his way through as well, but that Deagle ain't doing the work that they want it to, and this is looking like a completely different Tyloo. Like, what is going on, Jordan? Please talk to me. Is it because it's early days? Is it because minus 72C haven't had a chance to get the guns out properly yet? Or are we rolling it back to yesterday?
They're running it back maybe a little bit. Tyloo might have had a bit of a chat in the break there and said, guys, this is just not acceptable. And it's not. And this is what it should look like. I mean, Lyrics is doing pretty well. Mercury the same. Jam Young's chiming in. Not a bad look for Tyloo at the moment. Gun's going to come out though for 72C again though. Warp in hand for Forzetsky this time around, which will change things up a little bit. Once again, the wall of smokes toward outer for Tyloo will be how they start their round.
Just, ooh, catching a nice timing. Barosto, way too focused.
Ooh.
And maybe not on the wrong thing, but Mercury is really firing up. Nasty shots coming through. Gets another one-man band right now, but as a trade comes through onto Frontalis. CDR doing that. And now it's Shandara is on the 1v3 angle after finding the first. And I don't know if I expect him to go for it. I think the right thing is just to save. There is not much hope with Tyloo playing as good as they are right now. And can you even say it's Tyloo, or is it just individual efforts from round to round, you know?
This is cheeky from Lyrics. Shandaris is not giving away that AWP for free until eventually Advent will find its mark. 5-0. I mean, I think you're seeing enough from Tyloo in these early rounds where you can't just say it's... Yeah, that's just an individual play. I mean, nicely timed from Mercury for sure, but obviously that smoke coverage is designed to set things up in a certain way, and he's able to exploit that. It definitely helps when your individuals are doing well.
For sure.
Poor buy from minus 72C this time.
What's changing? I'm seeing 3 going outers, 1 upper. Tyloo. After on that door util, Molly on top of the hut. Just conditioning -72C, but now it is just going to be this chase down towards that lower side. And Forzetsky is hearing all this, maybe expecting the push over the top of red. Has he heard the jumps? Or is he just hoping to catch a timing? He will catch a timing. Unfortunately, it has not gone well. He at least found that sneaky one on the Jamio. But that might just be all that -72C will get this round.
Ooh. Yeah, it might just be. Good shot coming through from the Deagle, but it's through the wall, so Mercury will survive. Dancing around in hell, and eventually he's going to be able to find Frontalis. So Scout's not going through, nor is Deagle. 6-0 now for Tyloo, and they continue their campaign. You really have to wonder, where was this version of Tyloo on Mirage?
Well, money's going to the bloody moon for Tyloo. Keeping 5 alive, 4 alive, 3 alive for the last couple of rounds is paying off. And -72C need anything. At the moment, they just keep on getting caught out. Getting torn to shreds by the dream team of Lyric and Mercury. Speaking of, he has darted his way into secret again already.
So he's gonna lose his head. Starts well again for Tyloo. Just doesn't seem like -72C can get anything going on this CT side at all. Outer has been a huge concern for them. Tyloo have been able to really do whatever they want on Outer. Doesn't seem like Inner's going to be working too well for them either.
Advent's got that pick multiple times now. -72C not changing up their positions. Map knowledge may be a factor there, but spam comes through eventually. We'll almost mop this one up, and there's one for Shandaris, who is leading the charge in the KD department. But in terms of impact, almost nada.
Shandaris not going to be able to hold on to his gun either, so it just goes from bad to worse for -72C. Seven and 0. This is quite the turnaround from map 1. And it is good to see that Tyloo still have this kind of play in them. Because I was seriously beginning to question. Another opening kill for Tyloo. I mean, to be fair, this time it's -72C with just the Deagles. Hasn't been particularly impressive at all on the second map. Barroso 0 and 6. Frontala's 1 and 8. Musu 2 and 8. Just don't know where you can really write a positive picture for them.
Brost on a nice off angle, if anyone walks into his trap, but unfortunately that will not be happening this round. Nice open plant there on A, and Tyloo have gone A for the majority of their first round halves already. First half rounds, that's the one.
Well, will Barroso be 0 and 7? Looks like he might just get away with his life, but he's going to go ahead and see if he can... Ooh, never mind. I thought he was going to take a gun. Try and take a gun. Not going to, so... Keeping himself at a 0 and 6, which I guess it could be worse. 0 and 8, though, for 72C. This has been a bit of a nothing map. I mean, it feels like we're just going through the motions, you know?
Yeah, it feels like we're really getting a speed run here. which isn't a bad thing, but I think it kind of is. Like, I wanted to see more from -72C. We were giving them so much props after map number 1. And again, it's just feels like it's going to be one of these scenarios where they're falling flat. They're double AWPing. Maybe that's an answer. I feel like Tyloo aren't necessarily using a lot of flashes at outers. They are just pushing, playing around smokes, and finding openings. So we'll see if 2 AWPs are better than 1, but it might be a reset or something.
Yeah.
Tyloo are not leaving spawn.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll get sorted out pretty quick.
They gave him an AK. That is so lovely. So wholesome, so kind. Tyloo.
The things you do when you're bored in a CS server. What's your go-to? You're a bit of a bee hopper, a KZ, are you a surfer? You do any of that?
I'm a big KZer.
Alright.
But I don't think I think the engine's still kind of cooked. I think it's being worked on and it's going alright. I did see is Caffrey, I think, is the Aussie surfer who does a lot of those ESL surf and chill maps or surf and flex, or you know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But had like a lot of records at some point. And he was playing surf today in CS2 and it was looking pretty smooth. So hopefully like all these updates that are coming one by one are like allowing the game to be closer to the community server gold that we had for what, like over a decade in CSGO. Like, give me that again. Always something to do, even domestically here. And even if not, then you can go and do it overseas, you know, just on a little bit of ping. And some of those game modes, it doesn't really matter if you've got ping. But straight off the back of the match medic, we've got a tactical coming through.
Looks to be all good. This feels like the longest 8-0 I've ever seen.
Yeah, some of these rounds are kind of like half dragon, right?
Hmm. Another pause. What's happening? Everyone just wants to watch some Counter-Strike, you know? It's too much to ask. Looks like we're still working through the match medic. It's a double AWP for -72C. I mean, at this point, you know, just got to throw everything and see what happens. Throw everything at the wall. Because whatever they're doing normally, clearly is not working.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame, right? Because you know that there are like some situations where I can't remember what you said. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm talking about the double AWP, but I mean at this point it doesn't matter, man. Like just say words because that's what we're here for. Words.
Double AWPs on CT side. It's like nothing's working. Like no matter what they're trying to do, it's just like Tyloo are just shooting them better. And there you go. Frontalis.
At least it's a 1-for-1. I mean, the thing is, though, Tyloo, once again, have got a lot of map control. They've already got a couple of players down secret.
Angle found from Lyric. Sneaky individual to snatch that one away, and Mercury was managed to find yet another one. CDR. Big pick onto Musu, and it's now for Zeski versus the world. Many members of Tyloo to get past here, and okay. That's happened. 1v5 ace. Let's get it.
Yeah. Forzetski, I don't know if that one's going to happen though. Just walking through the smoke, Lyrics is waiting for him. So 9-0, even though there's a bit of a pause in there, it doesn't seem like Tyloo is missing a beat on this map of Nuke. And yeah, I guess if you're 72C, you're kind of looking at this and thinking, man, we probably should have banned that one because this is just not it. This is just not it.
It's up to the part where the matchmatic was coming through on the stream. People are just asking, what are these strats?
It's a good question.
They're so lost.
The throw a molly into T-spawn and run into your own molly strat? I like that one.
Yep. Why is he following the line on the girder underneath on the map? Anyway, Forzetski's had enough. Trying to take his fate into his own palms. Pushing straight through the smokes at outers.
Yeah, what's just happened there?
And how come? And we now have CTs up on the T roof. Within 10 seconds, this is just absolutely chaos.
Yeah. All right, that happened. That round happened.
That's the round they win, Jordan. Is it? Yep. Is that the one they win?
I guess so. I mean, you just got to throw caution to the wind and see what happens. And sometimes you just get to that point in the game where you're like, literally nothing we could possibly do that would be orthodox would work. So let's just W key. And that worked.
Yeah, whatever works. Huh? Well, what's going to change now? Let's see if -72C played the same as the previous. A little bit messy, a little bit chaotic. Maybe that's how they thrive. Oh, Lyric has not seen Forzetski here, who could definitely get the better of him. But the T's are sending numbers, like big numbers as well. This way, oh, 1 found, 2 found, and the third not going to be connected upon, but now things get awkward. Tyloo trying to force their way back into the round. ZDR able to find one there onto Musu. And one more, we will see an equalization come through, and that is there. So ZDR lifting for Tyloo this round. Forzetski still here it out, is still being an absolute nuisance, and keeping -72C in a position to potentially pick up the round, but it might just be all Forzetski here looking for the fourth. ZDR going to show where he is, and with that bomb down towards red, the CTs do not need to make the first move.
No, but if he can take one more gun with him, he's going to keep it expensive. Oh, the peaks aren't too good, but in the end, he does go down. It wasn't really too coordinated in the end, though. 9-2, and a chance for -72C to get one more, avoid the double digits. Thing is, they haven't really done much of a number to Tyloo's economy, so Tyloo will just keep buying into it. But at least they've given themselves something to play with instead of it being just a complete whitewash.
3-9 is certainly achievable, but that 3 being on the CT side does not give me a lot of hope. I feel like Tyloo's done enough to potentially just take this map already. But they got to finish. They got to finish. Forzetski, a big round in the previous, but this round will just be sitting at the back of warehouse. Deep smoke's coming through from Tyloo will allow them to have safe passage. In a secret, if they want it, they've managed to plot Mercury in there. And the rest of the boys just chilling at red, trying to figure out if they want to go for that boost, how they want to play it. And Lyric hoping that he can catch a timing onto the warehouse member. And there it is. Ready for the swing.
Jam Young. Oh, he's going to give him a little kiss in the smoke. This might work out for Jam Young, though. Yusu's a little bit more focused on what's happening in on the A site, and I think Jam Young's just going to wrap in behind him, so that'll be the freebie, and the second as well onto Hut Roof. Very nice. Tyloo going to be getting themselves up to double digits in the first half. Not sure what Barosso's going to be able to do about it, though. The nade doesn't quite catch Jam Young. All take from Heaven. 1v5 seems like just about the worst possible circumstances you could find yourself in. He's going to have to give it a crack, though. It is the last round of the half. And Tyloo are not giving him an inch. That'll be that. Lyrics finishes it off 10-2 first half. Tyloo looking very strong on map 2. Well, this is a turn of events.
Turn of Advents.
Turn of Advents, that's true. Although, I mean, look, Advent wasn't really doing too much in that first half. It was mostly Lyrics, Mercury, CDR. Now Tyloo onto the CT side are going to try to finish what they started on Nuke. They only need the 3 rounds. Pistol to start things off would pretty much seal the deal.
Well, they've seen that little whip from Mercury, but fortunately for him, he has Advent here to pick up all the pieces, or maybe not. Lyric coming in from Heaven gets doinked straight away down to 2 HP, and we'll want to go for that safe rotation. But 3v3 means there is still definitely a chance for Tyloo to keep it clean, stack on an 11th, and make it a quick affair here. But Shandara's quick on the trigger with that Glock, and it's not looking too likely for Jam Young. 1v3 angle. Maybe there's a world. There's definitely time. And that's that first shot that he needed.
Man. How's
The
he so
two
good?
T's. They're on the right side. There is a chance.
Oh,
Look
not
the
this
right
time.
way.
What's your take on that Heaven fight? Would you rather be down in the site or up in Heaven? Because
Down on site every time.
I've found, yeah, I always found that sitting on the site is so much easier. I guess because you only have one direction really to look at, whereas when you're coming out of Heaven, you've got to sort of clear so many angles. But
Yeah.
Definitely still feels harder, even when you know where your opponent is.
It's just the crosshair placements. Like, I find it weird.
Yeah,
When you're looking
down.
that far down. Nope. Minus 72C. Not looking down the barrel of anything too dangerous this round, except the full stack of USBs here at ramp, and that's going to be a nice amount of information. Shandara's great angle isolation, just slowly pulling in the tight lines, and that should be another quick round for minus 72C, who have now doubled their rounds in the second half.
It's a start. Tyloo are going to get the guns, though, in this round, and so that's where things might start to get a little bit more interesting. Lyric's going to go straight into the AWP. It's a glass cannon AWP. Up against 2 MAC-10s. That has me a little scared. And a Galil. Gonna have to be on point. Can't afford to be missing a shot in this round. Minus 72C want to go faster into the A bomb site, but Mercury already getting that kill with the incendiary onto Forzetsky. Gonna put a stop to that.
Oof. Cracker entry. But that's about all minus 72C are going to get is Jam Young. For breakfast, no lunch, no dinner. And Tyloo with 4 alive on this gun round is going to start to really stabilize that economy for the coming rounds. Tyloo just need to identify their holes in the defense, and there was not many. The path that was chosen was straight into the AWP there. And Tyloo need just 2 more to close us out here for the evening.
Not going to be 2 easy ones, at least if this is anything to go by. There's still a little bit of an investment for 72C to work with. 1900 loss bonus though, so if T-side does drop this one, they will not have a goodbye next round. This is about the best case scenario for Tyloo. 1 round is really worth 2, I would think. That said, I know Tyloo, and oftentimes they're one of the teams that's, you know, they find it a little bit difficult to close these games out sometimes, especially on Nuke. Seen it before. Don't really want to see it again. Bit of a dampener on what would be a pretty good end to the night, though. End of the day, still a 1-1, which I think you would generally consider a win for minus 72C.
Big pick, Lyric really showing what his AWPing caliber is. This map, 22 and 6 for him. Just getting the big picks on a per round basis. ZDR on top of the box. Looking for the off angle, was expected. And let's see where minus 72C end up. We've already got a little rotation down to lower for Tyloo. And Lyric making sure there is going to be no rotation back towards Heaven's side. He can cut that off here from a solid line at the box in CT. And the call ends up being for minus 72C to just regroup and go A.
Yeah, Advent. I don't know about this. I mean, this is a pretty tough ask, considering there's not really anyone there to help him. He's going to need clean shots on the first player, which he does get. But double swing will come through, and not much he can do about it. Still, you're going to get the trades on in from Tyloo. Lyrics. Oh, it came down to Mercury with a bit of a wayward spray, but got it done in the end. Good response from Tyloo, and that is the round that they were looking for. That is, in theory, enough to seal the deal, because look at the money that the T-side have got here. They cannot afford anything. Not a single AK going to come through in this round.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like, I feel like this is the similar round to what we saw them win for their first round in that first half, where they ended up on T-roof as CTs real quick, but let's have a look. With that limited util, we've got a prog smoke at door. We've got 1 prog smoke at outers as well. And there is still going to be 2 smokes remaining. But I don't know if they're going to use to cross into secret or what that call ends up being. But in the meanwhile, Jamyoung going to be able to snatch one off in the form of Frontales. Frontales, however we want to say it.
I think we just made the executive decision to go with Frontales on one night of Challenger League, and that's where we've rolled with from since.
Beautiful.
So, just more fun that way, you know?
And it kind of rhymes with Shandara's too, so
Exactly.
not bad, not bad.
Oh, lyrics. Oh, that's so scary. Needs to hit this shot. Can't. And that'll mean that Jamyoung has some work to do. And Mac, I just don't... I want to say I don't believe it, but I absolutely do believe it. But this is just Tyloo in a nutshell, isn't it? It's like the game is there to finish. And for some reason, they just never seem to be able to. Never do it easy.
Nah. Well, minus 72C, getting close to sight now. They are really hunting and somehow giving Jamyoung these 1vx positions. That bomb now scurrying towards the lower site instead as Jamyoung... Where's he going? Well, Kit, high priority, understandable.
Bomb has been planted.
And I think he's planning to follow the enemy's route here.
It's not unwinnable for Jamyoung. Spotted out the player behind the silo. Smoke's not really going to help him out too much. I think time's really getting away from Jamyoung here. He wants to give it a crack, but this is wishful thinking now. Round's over. Just wants to try and take him with him, but not so the case. And so Tyloo will require another, and their money's cooked. So we'll be left wanting a little longer. That is just so classic Tyloo.
Well, let's see if anything changes here for minus 72C. Rifles for almost everyone. From Tales. With that AWP in hand, or the scout rather. He's looking to make something happen. Mercury with a 5-7 getting up into the grills of minus 72C is able to find that first pick on the outer side. And then in the meanwhile, all this going down here on B. It is not a pretty sight, but it has got themselves a major regardless.
What is going on? Okay, 5-7, Borosto down. And now it's just Musu who has to find the bomb. Find the 2 CTs. Advent stomping around a little bit. ZDR will join him. And up onto hut roof goes Advent, which is enough to get the info onto Musu. Another little tag. Job gets more difficult as that time ticks away. At least the bomb retrieval is easy. But in the meanwhile, both the Tyloo members able to find themselves a gun. Tyloo going to do right back to them what was initially done to them. And I wonder if Musu's DC right here, because I did hear a click in the chat. And he hasn't moved.
This would not be a good way to go.
No,
Oh,
okay.
no, he's just extremely patient.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. It was that tick in the chat that got me, though.
Yeah. Always keeps guessing. And so will this off position from Advent. And there is no world. There is no world where Musu expects this one. ZDR picks up the final kill, and we are flipping that scoreline pretty much. 13-5, Jordan, and Tyloo wake the hell up.
Yeah, well, nice. I mean, nice little bounce back from Tyloo. Obviously, a pretty good map there from them on Nuke. I still think you would have to look at that one and say, as far as Tyloo's concerned, dropping a map to ZDR tonight. ZDR? So minus 72C, I should say. Dropping a map to minus 72C is still a little bit of a disappointing result overall. This should probably be a 2-0 every day for Tyloo, but I mean, they're going through some things. They're going through some roster changes. Not sure exactly where they're sitting at the moment. Even in regards to that, it doesn't seem like they've got like a an actual 5 locked down. They've got a bunch of players on the roster that they can use, but really the only ones that seem like they're 100% locks at the moment are Jamyoung and Mercury. And Mercury is, of course, one of the players that we talked about at the start of the day and said that we should be keeping an eye on. And I thought Mercury played pretty well again in that second map. But get a bit of a step up for Mercury this time around.
Yeah.
But he was the one that even kind of looked okay on map 1. So map 1 to 2, Mercury, yeah, well done.
It was good to see as well, you know, shout out to Lyric. One of the first times we've got to see him play for Tyloo. And even though map 1, you know, we need to forget about that on Mirage. He was farming. He looked really damn good, really solid as an AWPer. So hopefully that's just what Tyloo needed. You know, we have seen Kaze AWPing for years. He was very great. He has always been very great, but it seems like recently he's just been falling off a little bit. So maybe some young blood, a little bit of a flashy AWPer or someone that's more consistent is the answer. And is Lyric that? We don't know yet. But this game in particular, he had a good one.
Yeah, still early days. I thought you kind of saw some tendencies, though, from Lyrics. Like, he seemed like he wanted to be someone on the front foot, pushing, trying to get involved in a bit of a fight and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think you can potentially kind of get a bit of an idea of what he's supposed to do in this roster, which is, I think, good, right? I think they kind of need a bit of an enforcer type player. They've never really had someone that always wanted to be on that front foot. I think they've always sort of had a little bit more of a passive tendency in this Tyloo team. So that's good. I think we've got some stats that we can take a look at here. And then we'll wrap the night up. So that's both of the maps combined for Mercury.
Not bad.
28 and 21 over the course of the evening, 1.3 KD. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. If you're getting around 80 ADR, I mean, that's definitely acceptable. So he had a solid night. Tyloo still left some questions. You know, that's the first game that I've watched of theirs since some of these roster changes have occurred, and I've still got questions. You know, I'm still not sold. Obviously, can't really be sold after having watched just one best of 2 or 2 best of 1s, I guess is what we should call it. But yeah, do I want to say the future's bright? I think it's still too early to say at this point, Mac. But tell you what is bright. It's my lights. I need to turn them off. It's time for us to have a break and go to bed. And we'll be back again, I think, next week for some more ESL Challenger League. But do hope you've enjoyed your evening. And if you're going to be sticking around for more, we'll see you then. Have a good one.